This is Chuck Schaefer of HCM TV, and I'm joined by Carl Ederle, Vice President, Product Strategy for Taleo of Oracle. Carl, thank you very much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Carl, I'd like to talk about talent acquisition and talent management. It's an application that is increasingly cloud, increasingly social, increasingly mobile, and an increasingly competitive marketplace. How is Taleo, or what is Taleo doing differently to find differentiation in this competitive landscape?
Great question. One of the couple of things you mentioned I think are real key. You mentioned their cloud-based solutions. You mentioned their mobile-oriented solutions, social solutions. Taleo designs solutions for people, used by people, easily understood by people, extremely intuitive, and in fact elegant in their design. And we think that's key. We think that's key in terms of our differentiation. We think it's key in terms of what these solutions represent and how they're adopted and how easily they're used, because they are solutions for people.
You know, user interfaces and user experience is a hallmark of some social applications. Mm-hmm. And I know Taleo is an application that I would suggest, from my experience, no owner's manual required.
Right.
Sit down, it's intuitive, it's graphical, you can generally figure it out. But what goes into making that user experience what it is in Taleo, and how is that different from the marketplace of other talent acquisition systems?
Well, part of designing an elegant user experience is understanding the user. We employ a user-centered design approach. Let me give you an example. We have over 200 million unique visitors to Taleo every year. Now, most of those are candidates. They're candidates from the outside world applying for jobs within. Mm-hmm. When we design software for their experience, for their use, we actually go to their homes. We watch them apply to jobs. We see what's working and what's not working, because the solution has to be drop dead simple. There's enough pressure on that individual to have to apply for that job and complete that application. We don't want the software to get in the way. So user-centered design is all about the user. It's about understanding the user, observing the user, and then designing the solution around what they can and can't do easily.
Taleo is now being integrated into the Oracle Fusion HCM. Can you share with me what that integration looks like and what the outcome will be?
The integration of Taleo with the Oracle HCM suite is of huge value to our customers, to the marketplace in general. From a broader solution perspective, what you now have, what the marketplace will have, are solutions where the individuals that truly manage talent, the managers, have the opportunity to now see the impact and actually transact and actually take action on their talent initiatives. So that's a huge benefit. Now, the integration itself is sort of bringing all that together. So a manager has all those tools at their disposal. They don't have to navigate from one system to the next. It's just, again, delivered, understanding their user experience, understanding their need. The opportunities there are endless in terms of understanding the context, understanding the type of devices they'll want to use, mobile or tablets. All of that really is just part of the effort. And again, what you're going to see is a very elegant, complete suite of capabilities targeted to different end-user populations.
Unlike the benefits you're speaking to, the broader integration of business processes across suites, seemingly to reduce cycle times and that kind of thing, one of the significant value propositions of Fusion is its choice in deployment and consumption of software, where the application software can be consumed in an Oracle cloud, mm-hmm. from a public cloud, on-premise, or a hybrid combination thereof. Do you expect that we'll see that from Taleo as well?
Today, there's no plan to architect Taleo so that it will go on-premise. Okay. That could change. As we learn more about Oracle tools, as we leverage more of that Fusion technology stack, that could change. Today, that's not the plan, and today Taleo is completely deployed in the cloud. Mm-hmm. Now, that can easily transcend to a private cloud, because it's just a matter of sure. dedicating hardware. Putting it on premise a little more involved. But one thing to remember and really think through when you talk about talent management, especially recruiting applications, they work really well in a cloud environment.
Right.
I think that's a big reason why you see certain solutions do well in the cloud. When you think through what has to happen in the process of trying to attract and hire somebody, you've got numerous stakeholders involved, right? Just even the candidate, the recruiter, the manager, the employees. You've got numerous participants that aren't necessarily all within your enterprise. You've got partners, background checkers, tax credit vendors, assessment vendors that are all part of that process as well. Cloud solutions allow for that integration and that choreography of that process to happen very elegantly.
I agree. The cloud facilitates that ecosystem very nicely. In terms of new product direction, can you share with me at a high level what we might expect to see from Taleo in terms of product advancement or new features and capabilities?
There are 2 or 3 areas we're really spending a lot of time and effort on. One is certainly mobile, and taking our solutions to mobile devices is more than just taking the software and having it accessible through a small screen. Right. It's rethinking the process, it's understanding context, it's leveraging elements of the phone, right? The video elements of a phone or location-based services of a phone that I think will lead to an entirely new set of solutions. Another area where we're spending a lot of time and focus is on social. And social being really the understanding that we all work in a collaborative sense. Right? We don't necessarily just do things individually. And when you think about talent management and talent processes, so many of them are social. An interview, for example, of a candidate is one of the more social endeavors that any of us undertake.
Sure.
As we interview, we talk to numerous interviewers. They share notes. They collaborate in terms of how the interviews went. And then a third area where we're spending a lot of time is really around big data, leveraging this great data set that we've accumulated over years, where we're really able to start to, when we talk about talent acquisition, really start to offer a view of the market. And when you think about the talent market, it is the largest market on the planet. It is one of the most inefficient markets on the planet. And the more information that we can create and share value-added information that benefits buyers of talent and sellers of talent, everybody wins.
I'm really glad you brought up big data. From the talent management technology industry, we certainly hear a lot about cloud, social, and mobile as disruptive technologies. We really don't hear that much about big data, and I see this as a big opportunity. You're harnessing vast amounts of data that seemingly could be applied for behavioral science and predictive analytics. Is that something we're going to see more of from Taleo?
Yes, absolutely. The opportunity to leverage big data certainly starts with just greater insight about elements or questions that really are being asked by every organization. So, the question is asked, of an ecosystem, and you can sort of accumulate all this data across an ecosystem to come up with a better answer. I think when you apply that even within an organization, you're going to see solutions from Taleo that start to look at performance, not of an individual, but of a team. Think about, the construct of a team and how different behavioral elements of each participant all contribute to whether a team succeeds or doesn't. And that's where big data and understanding those dynamics really start to, I think, take performance to a higher level. And when we think about talent in driving business performance, it's really about how we work in teams, because that's how work gets done.
Absolutely. What advice would you offer to the HCM or business leader that's about to evaluate talent management systems for a procurement or subscription?
I think there are 2 or 3 things they really need to focus on. One is they truly need to understand their business need. Start with a clean template of what are we trying to accomplish. Secondly, I think as any organization looks at these solutions, they really need to understand the question of adoption. Are these solutions easy to use? Are they elegant to use? Will they actually be used? Because if they're not, then the decision really becomes a moot point. And then third, of course, is thinking about that vendor's viability and that vendor's roadmap, right? What comes next? Because talent management is really a journey. It's not just a destination. We will continue to learn about people. We'll continue to learn about how they work with one another. And the vendors that understand that and are leveraging all that behavior and bringing that back as future solutions, I think are the vendors that are going to win in this space.
And with that response, I think we're at a good break point to conclude our conversation. This is Chuck Schaefer. I've been joined by Carl Ederle, Vice President, Product Strategy with Oracle Corporation. Carl, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.